Meadow here to kick off, and that is because it can happen to us all, folks. The referee got stuck in traffic, but only a slight delay, otherwise we'd be underway by now. And it's been good so far for the Blues, with a handsome win over Barnsley and a slightly more economical one over Fylde. Sam Parkin, former Chelsea youth teamer, is with me. Hopefully progress today against the Toffees, Sam.
Yeah, should be a tough test. Stronger than what's come before, even though Fylde did put up a good fight in that last encounter. But of course, this is the competition. They all want to win, emulate what's gone before. A lot of the players that have won this trophy will remain at the club, probably involved in the 23s and some of them involved in the first team now. So always big pressure, I think, to achieve what's gone before. And likewise for the management team, they'll be really motivated to get back to another final as they did last year and put the wrongs of what happened on that occasion right this time around.
Yes, it can be slightly confusing, but during the course of this season we have had the latter stages of last season's FA Youth Cup. It happened over a long weekend at St George's Park. Chelsea beat Man United in the semi-final there and then narrowly lost to Manchester City. I think that was November, but it's all terribly confusing. Much like the women, who you're going to see in FA Cup action tomorrow on the Fifth Stand app. They lost in last season's FA Cup to Everton during the course of this season's play, but kick it off again tomorrow. And Chelsea 9 times FA Youth Cup winners, incredible, as we know. The vast majority of them in the last 10 years or so. Only one behind Manchester United at the top of that particular chart. 10 Youth Cup finals since 2008, Sam. It's ridiculous. It's a knockout competition. Even if you are constantly producing quality players, you'd think you'd have more, off days at the office than that, but they just keep on doing it.
Yeah, the consistency's been incredible. It was Mason Greenwood that meant they didn't make it a couple of years ago, wasn't it? He got a hat-trick and they're unsuccessful that time around, but to bounce back last year and get to the final and obviously push Manchester City very close as well was a good achievement, and hopefully they can do it again. And looking at the players at their disposal, although it's been a little bit of a struggle in the league campaign at 18 and 23s level, I think when this competition comes around and they can call on the players from across both the levels, it's a real strong outfit that we're expecting to see today.
Let's take a quick check on what happened in the last round, having smashed Barnsley for 8, 7 of which were worldies. It was a 2-0 home win over Fylde, with Brian Feerbema scoring a much-needed goal, his first for 6 months. The young Norwegian up front after good work from Harvey Vale. You're going to see him starting again today. Harvey Vale, that is. Feerbema is on the bench. And Ben Elliott, who's also on the bench today, made it 2-0. Vale involved again. And that's a real boomer from Ben Elliott. So he's on a nice little run because he scored one of the 8 against Barnsley as well. He'll be hoping to get off the bench and perhaps make it 3 in 3 in his Youth Cup campaign. He actually played a bit at the end of the last one. So this is round 5. Some have been played, as you can see. The ties already. And the interesting one to look at there is West Bromwich Albion, 5-0 winners. When do West Brom score 5 goals away from home in London? That can't be very common. They beat Spurs there, and the winner of this tie plays them away in the quarter-final. More big names in action tomorrow. Chelsea are used to meeting and beating the best. It's usually Chelsea and Manchester City, but not this year. Such a strong record, even though the names change. The academy habit does not. Ed Brand's side in league terms have just had a 7-0 win over Aston Villa, the under-18 Premier League. Not been quite as all-conquering this term, but you do get a lot of changes at under-18 level, and many of the players popping up for a bit of PL2 action every now and then as well, like Harvey Vale and Miles Peart-Harris at the back there, fit again now. Also fit again Jude Soon-Sup-Bell. That's good news. Everton got here the hard way. they knocked out Manchester City in the last round in the 98th minute. 8 minutes of stoppage time when they popped in the only goal of that game, and they were 2 down against Wigan. Ended up winning it 4-2 after extra time. So it's not been nearly as serene as the Blues' progress, with Lewis Bate there as the captain. He and Livramento right next to one another there, Sam, and they've actually been a really good combination from central midfield to wide right at PL2 level.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing those two in particular. Obviously, Livramento's been a standout, I would say, for a year or so now. Marauding runs down the right-hand side. Wait to see if he's deployed at full-back or maybe as wing-back today, but got a real good knack of getting in the opposition's 18-yard box, winning fouls, but also, you know, supplying ammunition for players like Peter Harris in the picture there, or obviously Soumsop Bell, who comes back into the picture today.
Indeed he does, and there is his name at number 9. In terms of the last round, for what it's worth, there are 3 changes. Back in, Josh Brooking at the back, the creative Joe Haig, who, if you've not seen him before, folks, I think you'll enjoy watching him. Classy player. And the top scorer, fit again, Jude Soumsop Bell, who injured himself very early against Everton in the PL2, and it looked like a really awful injury. It actually only kept him out for a month. It could be 3-5-2 with wing-backs, or it could be a 4-2-3-1. We shall see very shortly. In terms of Everton, Whittaker and Cannon are their top scorers in the league. They've got 6 each, and Cannon was the hero in extra time against Wigan a couple of rounds ago when he scored twice. We're expecting them to be a 4-3-3 under manager Paul Tate. And there they come. We're thinking 3 at the back for Chelsea, Sam. Your spies are telling us.
Yeah, I think Ed likes to go with the box midfield, the 2 number 10s. So looking at the team sheet, probably Haig and Peter Harris would be my guess, behind Soumsop Bell and Webster and Lewis Bate, kind of holding the midfield, and obviously he gets Livramento a little bit higher up the pitch. Maybe it was the question mark was who would play on the left-hand side. Process of elimination probably means it'll be Harvey Vale, but yeah, again, you know, shape is one thing. It's all about your attitude, isn't it, in these games? They will feel bullish, I would imagine, Everton, considering the way they've made it through. The Wigan result having been down and out, and then to win last minute against Manchester City, who are such powerhouses, they will be confident coming down here today that they can create another upset.
That's Jason Richardson, the referee. Ed Brandy, who just got a shot off the Chelsea coach, Youth Cup captain like Lewis Bate a generation ago. Half a lifetime ago for him now. Hoping to go one better and win this thing that Chelsea wins so very often. But tough round 5 tie here against Everton, who fought hard to be where they are. They've had as you all know, a fine history of bringing through quality players for a long time. On the attack early here. There's a shot, and it's a good one, and it could have been an opening goal inside 30 seconds. McAllister smashing it goalwards, turned into a useful pass, and what a chance not taken. A real early scare.
Yeah, it's a shot, isn't it? It sits beautifully to be struck first time, and it's dobbing on the far post, just coming in field, off the wing, and he just couldn't sort his feet out. It comes off his heel, doesn't it, and back where it's come from. Probably won't get a better chance this afternoon. It comes in the opening 30 seconds. For that man, I hasten to add.
Ed Brand shouting wake up from the touchline already. Everton with a first-minute corner. Not a good one, thankfully. Chelsea can start again now. Pretend that didn't happen. There is your wake-up call indeed. Thierry Small here, back with a decent reputation. He was one of those in the first team squad, never mind at PL2, when Carlo Ancelotti brought Everton to the Bridge exactly a year to the day after the final game with fans pre-lockdown. There were a handful of Everton youngsters on his first-team bench, including Small, and indeed Tyler Onyango's not involved today, but has been involved in their Youth Cup run. This is Christensen, the Dane, at the back. And it is indeed that three, isn't it? Bashir Humphries with the number 5 on his back, the left of the back three. Charlie Wiggett in the middle, and Josh Brooking on the right of them, as Lewis Bate is caught there by Lewis Warrington. Now Chelsea coming forward. Pert Harris just got himself fit again, has been scoring goals for the youth team. Been playing PL2 all season, Miles Pert Harris. Missed a whole bunch of matches at the start of this year once they finally restarted again, because they had a long old wait in the PL2. Pert Harris got fit again with some youth team games and has scored some goals. A very nonchalantly taken hat-trick at the weekend against Villa for him. And there he is again, on for Soon Sup Bell. Himself scored against Villa as well. Top scorer at the club, Jude Soon Sup Bell, at any level. For the males, anyways, a little bit behind Kirby and Kerr. Such a horrible looking injury, whereas you really feared the worst. Against Everton in the PL2 here. Very early on, his foot went in a direction you don't expect a foot to go to, and you thought, well, that's him done for a very long time. But no, young bendy joints. Handball shout against Harvey Vale. He'll be up and down that left, as Sam suggested. Everton's free kick.
Yeah, it was a good pick out, actually, from Pert Harris. Missed out the opposition's fullback, and Vale just couldn't collect it, just bounced up off the surface and struck an arm. Definite free kick, but responded to that early chance from Everton, starting to control a bit more of the ball, waiting for anything on the Everton target.
Jean-Luc Leban, their goalkeeper. Here's Thierry Small. Campbell and Christensen, their two centre-halves. This is the former. Now Joe Hay doing a bit of closing down. Patient from Everton. Now a bit of acceleration from Small. KG. Butterfield is the number 8 who's just on the ball there. He got that all-important 98th minute winner that knocked out the holders Manchester City in the last round. For once, Chelsea won't be playing Man City in this competition. Just a whole lot of first-team level. Wembley, maybe a Champions League final. And there's a league meeting still to come at the Etihad. The first of what I'm sure will be many nibbles here on Tino Livramento. He's been such a force for good, bombing up the right side as a right back, as a right wing back, occasionally as an out-and-out right-sided, more forward-thinking player, but largely from deeper positions, makes things happen. Bashir Humphries coming forward here into Soon Sup Bell. Chelsea haven't quite settled into knocking it around in the middle yet. More than tidy enough to do that with the Bate and Webster axis in there. Strong challenge coming in, and a legal one from Butterfield, and then it's also won by McAllister. It's a half-decent chance for him in the build-up to Dobbin's effort, and there is Dobbin winning the corner via Bashir Humphries.
Yeah, definitely playing with a 10. Charlie Whittaker playing in behind the two front players. McAllister wide on the left-hand side. Sorry, the front three players. Dobbin on the right-hand side. So, saw a really interesting game in the 23s on Monday, where Southampton just went really aggressively and pressed the life out of Chelsea. I thought it was probably a good experience for Chelsea's youngsters coming up against that. This is a different type of challenger team. I think it were coming to go toe-to-toe, you know, in terms of their attacking setup. Looks like should be a nice open affair.
First corner from the other side wasn't up to much. This one is a bit better. And that's Campbell with the header. It's off target.
It's always difficult when the ball's slightly behind you. You're always kind of adjusting, trying to manufacture the power on the ball. Not much pace on the delivery and easily sails wide of the post.
Bait. Tenacious, that's Whittaker closing down as well. Webster's found a bit of space here. He's just had a PL2 bow. Charlie Webster in the game against West Ham last week. Got that debut from the start as well. In there with Lewis Bate and indeed George McEachran. Campbell going long. He picked up the second ball here. McAllister, I think that was an effort at goal, Sam.
I'll have to disagree.
Oh, do you think he was trying to arc it to Dobbin coming down the right?
Yeah, outside of the right foot, I think he went for and just came off the front of his boot. Bergstrom was probably concerned for a second.
Had a lot of chopping and changing at goalkeeper. All the Chelsea Academy sides this term. Youngster Ted Kerr's been playing a fair bit on Saturday mornings of late. Carney, Prince Adjakoke as well. Bergstrom has had a bit of PL2 action. He's had some injury problems. Carlo Ziga's been in and out. Ethan Wadey's had some games. Petr Cech's played in the PL2 against Spurs. It's a sloppy moment to let Everton have the ball back here. Webster's done well to win it. Nicely done. Soon Sup Bell to Pert Harris and Webster. That would have been a lovely goal.
His touch was a little bit heavy there. The build-up play was absolutely perfect. Webster starting the move. Sup Bell, that's really good. And Pert Harris, great awareness and shouldn't have been too difficult to take that in his stride. Just needed that little soft touch off the left foot, opened up the target for his right.
All closing down here by Pert Harris. Laban took every fraction of a second he had. This was tight. Lucky boy.
Yeah, I think the centre-half probably has to do it a little bit quicker as well. Took the touch, just waited a couple of seconds before passing it back to the goalkeeper, and it was at a weight where he couldn't really play it first time. He was very close to his own goal line as well.
Humphreys. Got a little look at Youth Cup football last season, Bashir Humphreys. Substitute appearance against Bradford. Seems a very long time ago now. There were supporters. Here's Livramento, and still didn't want to hit it with his left. Vale kept it in. If he has, it's only for Laban anyway. And if that had been on his right foot, Sam, he'd have been hitting it.
Yeah, he skips in field small quite easily. He's there, isn't it? Just left foot, bend it towards the far post. He actually finds a nice bit of space to play the little ball behind the right back for Vale, but just a little bit too heavy. Something I'm sure that he'll be working on, because when you can add that to your game, become a difficult proposition for full-backs that you're facing when you can go either way.
Doesn't really play under 18s on the weekends, Tino Livramento, even though he could. It's generally been the way for a while at Chelsea now. The top bracket of youth team players who could play those games tend to feature more for Andy Myers and John Harley at PL2 level, but then come back to the under 18 group. Some of them generally when there's cup competition, when you can put your strongest team out. Thierry Small, good cross, worked the position well. Dobbin surrounded by blue. Bate gets the block in, and then the tackle too. That's excellent from Chelsea's captain. Typical Lewis Bate, really. Vale. Josh Brooking. Bashir Humphreys here, if you're wondering where Levi Colwell is. Out injured, sadly. Had a brilliant season at the back. Played the Youth Cup for a couple of seasons now, and PL2 regular back there. Here's Bate. That was on, and he's always got the quality to hit that pass, Lewis Bate. Harvey Vale thought Pert Harris was making a run that he hadn't made. Just 3 weeks in between losing the final to Man City and kicking off the latest Youth Cup run against Barnsley. Odd times. Here's Joe Haig. Lovely cameo in that Barnsley game off the bench. In 15 minutes, showed everybody what he's got. And there's a lot. Hasn't been able to get on the ball and show his stuff here yet. Early days, though. Bate with the switch again. Vale back to Bate. Butterfield sliding in there. May not have caught much of Lewis Bate, but that absolutely has to be a free kick.
A couple of lovely passes from Lewis Bate in the last couple of attacks. Just didn't have the option of Sunsop Bell. He was a little bit slow to show into feet, so I had to go crossfield again. And just enough contact in that collision. Butterfield sliding in, wasn't too much there, but the referee got the decision right, just allowed it to go on and realised that it just halted Bate's stride.
Well, left foot of Lewis Bate here, or the right of Charlie Webster. It will be Webster, and it's something clever. As Vale tried to dink it forward, as Bate had made that run from relatively deep. Don't mind that it didn't work. I like to see that sort of thing tried. Charlie Webster's pretty decent at curling them in himself. Bate with a little drop of the shoulder. He'd prefer it on his left foot. Here's Livramento, wants it on his right and has got it there. Dangerous ball! Squeezes through that 6-yard box and Everton hack it clear. Good little spell this for Chelsea.
Yeah, Bate turning down the opportunity on his weaker side to strike. But then Livramento's touch, it's Bates' opportunity there. That's a bit of a heavy touch, but then Livramento's first touch there just takes Small out of the game, and it's a brilliant area. Unfortunately, the Chelsea players are standing, maybe rather than arriving with a little bit of momentum.
Lovely ball from Josh Brooking. Look at the weight of that. Here's Joe Haig. Blues in the box. Ball in the side net. Disappointing outcome.
Yeah, terrific ball. Probably best of the game so far. Completely took out Butterfield. Haig just couldn't wrap his right foot around it. Roger Campbell coming over to close down the angle, but probably should have been able to deliver that.
Recently turned 18, Joe Haig. Scores a few, creates even more. Super balance. Most unlike him from a technical point of view to get that ball in all wrong. Came off the wrong part of his foot. Out from Laban. Humphreys with the header. Campbell likewise. Nice little layoff from McAllister, who looks tidy. Jim McAllister, he's got 5 goals in the league, and he had that shot after 20 seconds here that Dobbin could have turned in. The second of Chelsea's 9 Youth Cup wins was against Everton in the final. I doubt any of you were there to see it. 1961. Having won it for the first time the year before, Chelsea retained it that year. decent team in 1960. Had some youngsters called Bonetti and Tambling and Venables in the team, and that lot plus Ron Harris the year after beat Everton 5-3 on aggregate. They've obviously changed the format since then. Actually changed it very recently with ties going to one-game affairs rather than two legs. Well, it's good it's come back anyway, because there was a long old wait. It was postponed indefinitely due to the obvious reasons of pandemic, after round 3 had been played from Chelsea's perspective. 4 months to wait to play Fylde in the next round, but thankfully it's back. Charlie Webster. Ambitious. Harvey Vale was so high and wide. There's enough air time for that ball to be picked out. Not a good pass for Livramento. And now Thierry Small coming forward. Chelsea, the architect their own problems here. Thierry Small going from left back to right wing. Scenic route. Livramento wants the free kick and gets it.
Yeah, it eventually came over this side, but that ball should have been shifted so much quicker, because Livramento would have had the freedom of the right side. As you can see, that's Everton's wide right player, who in the end has been able to track him. Thierry Small obviously went walkabouts, and that was the first opportunity for Livramento to have the freedom of the right side. So they get something in the end.
Generally see these two central midfielders on set-piece duty for Chelsea, the right-footed option being Webster and the left of Bate. It's the latter who delivers. It's usually good. That one's just got a bit too much on it. Easy for Leban. And keeping their powder dry and not trying to counter quickly here, Everton. Everton free kick. Chelsea have lost only once in the last 6 outings, all comps. That was a very late penalty, a 2-1 loss to Crystal Palace. It was a slightly wobbly spell before that. A few too many defeats in league play, and I know it's not all about results at this age group, but generally over the years we've got used to seeing performances as well as results. Last season's league obviously curtailed early. There was double silverware potential for a while. It's got up really well with his headers so far, Bashir Humphreys. Bate and Webster between them again, winning it well. Haig keeps it moving. Here's Tino Livramento. Good run from Pert Harris to create some space inside. Now sees him gets it outside, and Livramento, so dangerous. Haig goes down. Obviously felt the brush. It's a very modern going to ground, isn't it? And it's a foul from Bate.
Yeah, it was McAllister tracking back into his own box, and I think it's one of those kind of collisions where you can premeditate that the contact's forthcoming. You make your mind up that you're going to go to deck. It's good play from Livramento again. He's taken up really intelligent positions in field. I think Haig makes his mind up that he can see peripheral vision. There's going to be an Everton player coming across. I'm going to go to deck here, but not enough in it. A little brushing wasn't there, but not enough to put him to the floor.
It's something we're just going to have to get used to, even from our own.
Well, sometimes when the ball's, I suppose, rolling away from a defender, a goalkeeper, and you're running at a different angle, you know if you get that touch, strikers normally, forward players, you know if you get that touch, there's going to be a collision. And that is a penalty, even though you have preempted that was going to happen, and that's the reason that you're busting the gut to get your toe on it.
That was a risky pass from Warrington. It's been cut out by Bate. But Harris, good use of the body there. Equally physical is Vale. That'll be a corner. Charlie Webster's going to go and cross and take. Good season, Harvey Vale. Started all these Youth Cup games and has recently become quite a regular fixture in the PL2 lineup. Another one of those who mid-season has made the step up. With the likes of Ian Martson going out on loan. Webster with the corner. Humphreys was waiting for a header there, but Levan got good distance on his clearance. Livramento will always back himself, and Everton are finding out what a handful he can be. Such a strong carrier of the ball and right in front of the assistant. Little bump from Thierry Small.
He does brilliantly, the left back. He gets Livramento exactly where he wants him, and he's just a little bit overzealous, isn't he? A bit over physical. It's marginal, isn't it? I'm not sure that was a free kick, but he'd done his job, the left back, perfectly.
A tiny lean with the left arm. We'll take it. 23 gone. First quarter, for now at least. Could get longer, of course, of this round 5 tie. Charlie Webster again. Another chance for Chelsea to put some quality into that Everton box. And that is an excellent ball. Right on the money, but so too was Christensen to get a defensive head on it. Can ask no more of your free kick taker than that. It's a quality ball in.
No, they've defended the wide balls in pretty well to this point.
Here's Lewis Bates, ambitious, but he's got that in the locker for sure. He can hit many a beauty from long range.
It's a really good delivery. You could tell when he left his foot that he put real whip on it. And Bate just having to generate the power himself, really. It's under his feet somewhat. Trying to lash it towards the far post. I've seen him do it already this season, but a couple of feet over the crossbar.
He wrapped up the Barnsley win. If for any reason you haven't seen them, take a moment to have a little look at the goals. They were sensational. A genuine goal of the season contest within one football match. I think 6 or 7 of them were of the absolute highest quality, including Lewis Bates right at the end. Might even have been the pick of the bunch, actually. We've got treatment required for Dobbin here. Didn't really see how that happened, if I'm honest, Sam, did you?
No.
He looks okay. He'll have to get... Oh, no, he's not okay. I was going to say he's going to have to go off to come back on, but that's an unfortunate end for him. 25 minutes. Could have opened the tie with a goal inside 25 seconds. But whatever's gone there has gone for Lewis Dobbin. And his Youth Cup round 5 afternoon ends unfortunately early.
He made that 50, 60-yard sprint to get back with Livramento about 5 minutes ago. That could have maybe been it, but didn't see a collision.
That's a real shame for him. Stanley Mills, his replacement. He sounds like he belongs in a bygone era. What a brilliant old footballer's name that is. Stan, the man, is on earlier than he would have expected, and a chance for him to shine as one door closes for one player, it opens for Mills. Like many Evertonians before him, he's been beaten in the air by Bashir Humphreys. Vale. Here is Humphreys again. Christensen just keeps it in, that's awkward. It's out. Chelsea corner. The pressure was enough to force the mistake. I mean, even if he got that pass right, Sam, don't play that. Because it's going to be bouncing for your goalkeeper, isn't it?
Yeah, on his weaker foot. Having to lift it over the Chelsea player who was closing him down. It was a tough pass in itself.
Webster with yet another corner. But yet again, Laban has shown good command of his area and has caught well so far. Heavy touch. Allowing Josh Brooking in. Like most of these players out there, Josh Brooking, part of the 1920 scholar intake. Not all of them, but most of them. Bert Harris, nice. Livramento, even he's not quite quick enough, so it's just too much on that pass. That's a little bit a lack of care from Miles Pert Harris. That's not a difficult pass, is it, Sam?
No, and just waiting for Hagen and Pert Harris to start getting on the ball, I suppose. When the left-back pushes on for Everton, Small, they need to come in to play, come to life, burst into those gaps, but yeah, really, with it difficult to get into Soonsup-Bell's feet to this point, he's not having a huge impact on the game, just looking for those two number 10s to really start forcing the issue.
It's a nice idea. Whittaker trying to just thread it forward there for Tom Cannon, and we've seen very little of him either, actually. Their number 9 just in shot there. But you're right, really the whole front three need to try and get, or be got more involved by the midfielders behind them. It's been more about, from a Chelsea perspective, Sam, sort of Webster and Bate on the ball in the middle and Vale wide and Livramento wide. But yeah, the two 10s, if you like, Pert Harris and Haig on the ball, and therefore by extension the supply for Jude Soonsup-Bell's not really happened. Not seen either number 9 here. It's not a game for Sam Parkin, that's for sure. Just had a rare touch there, pushed out wide Jude Soonsup-Bell.
Yeah, and it's probably inevitably he's not going to be fully up to speed as well, so it'll be interesting to see how long he lasts. Was it half an hour he got against Villa at the weekend, so it's probably quite a tough ask to expect Soonsup-Bell to get through the 90.
Inevitably scored a lovely goal. He's knocking on the door for 20 already, even having had a month off. Everton coming forward here with McAllister. He looks dangerous to me, and he's gone for goal here, and he wasn't far off. Sean McAllister, been dangerous right from kickoff, that young man.
Yeah, it's Mills, the substitute, finds McAllister, and it's a really clever effort, actually. It's a bit of cat and mouse between Bergstrom and he. He can try and bend it towards the top right-hand corner, and he just reverses it at the last moment, just a fraction away. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Half an hour played. Here's Josh Brooking. Wicket keeps it moving. Bashir Humphreys now. That was Haig just drifting out. Company Harvey Vale left-ish. Brooking again, that's the second really great pass he's produced from that kind of area. Bate tried the little drop of the shoulder, and in fairness, Butterfield was wise to it. Maybe he knew Lewis Bate was left-footed and wanted to get it there. I'm sure he'd have had a shot if he could have, following that touch. It's a good contest, this. It's not an absolute thriller of a match, but Everton look really tidy. Two neat sides here, Sam.
Yeah, that was a really good ball again from Brooking. Great position from Haig. Unfortunately, Bate didn't recognise that. He had to play one touch, tried to take it in, and dispossessed by, as you say, really resolute Everton. Two holders, I think Warrington and Butterfield, keeping their shape very well, making it hard for Chelsea to play through them, and that's probably why that's the first occasion Haig's had an opportunity to get turned in the final third, and Peter Harris has had real difficulty being able to get on the ball and affect it as well. Just that one a moment when he used his body brilliantly to turn and then overcook the pass. So, yeah, a little bit sloppy as well with their passing. So lots of areas to improve, but yeah, very cagey, I would say, for an opening half an hour of a game. We'd expect Chelsea to win, but Everton, given how well they've done in the competition so far, showing their quality.
Haig, it's a bit lucky, the ricochet favours Webster. But Harris. Those two for Everton, 6 and 8 in there, have done that well. Gaining a new appreciation for it, having watched what Kovacic and Jorginho, and then again in midweek, Kanté and Jorginho can do. When you do have those two there, if they're disciplined about it, it is very difficult to create stuff. Nicely worked. Brooking and Livramento. Extra men forward can certainly complicate the situation from a defensive point of view there. Haig and Webster. Into Peter Harris. There's a moment where the shot was on there. That's not a foul from Christensen, but it will be a corner.
A nice patient play, waited for the moment, and Webster spots it. Peter Harris, brilliant movement, makes a nice angle. First touch is nice and secure. Could he swivel and shoot? Possibly. But credit Christensen matching the run and making the challenge.
He's a confident boy, Miles Peter Harris. I'm slightly surprised he didn't have a go at that swivel there. And he's, as I mentioned, come back into the fold with goals. Got a last-minute equaliser in his comeback game against Leicester, 2-2, and then hat-trick for the 18s at the weekend against Villa. Bate. By design, that low ball into the box, perhaps trying to catch Everton out. Nice idea, but they've defended well. Pretty even contest with 11 minutes to half-time. Bate with the give and go. Haig taking over. Doing a good job, Everton, of plugging the holes at the moment. Chelsea have to be very sharp and precise to negotiate a way through and not be sloppy at the back. And Bashir Humphries has given that away. And a rare touch here for Tom Cannon. Now Mills. Nice disguise. And McAllister, 1-0 Everton. Their most dangerous looking player has put them in front, and it's come from a real mistake. With their principal front three players all involved, Bashir Humphries is going to feel a bit guilty. Unfortunate for the youngster, but Everton have punished.
Yeah, I mean, let's credit Cannon for a brilliant bit of closing. Humphries knows that he's got to play a little bit quicker. And I felt this pass from Mills could have gone straight away to McAllister. Went infield. McAllister's already shown his quality from a little bit further out. And that one whistles past Bergstrom into the near post. It's a really good finish, but I suppose, you know, a real bad Chelsea mistake. Punished emphatically by Everton.
Avoidable, for sure. Nicely finished, done with you. I think that reverse ball, it might even have been intended for him. I don't know if Mills even knew that galloping through the middle was Charlie Whittaker, because it was slightly behind him. He either played a bad ball for Whittaker or Whittaker got in the way, but it still found its way to McAllister anyway. Yeah, and yes, he did have that. He had that, didn't he, a moment ago, as you said. Maybe that cat and mouse game with Bergstrom, where he tried to give him the eyes and pull it to the near post, and that's where he's put that one too. Right then. We can't have this. Everton 1 up as we approach half-time.
Yeah, when Cannon nicks it, I think it's got to be two really quick passes. Got to play quickly because Chelsea out of their shape and desperate to recover. And I thought Mills had done it perfectly. And I think you're right. I think the player is breaking into the box, saw that the ball was in his vicinity and took it on. Might have even made its way to McAllister a little bit sooner, but didn't matter in the end. McAllister dispatched it wonderfully well.
I doubt Everton will play any differently for having the 1-goal lead. Chelsea must keep doing the good things as Tino Livramento tries the cross towards Soon-Sup Bell. It's cut out by Elijah Campbell. Livramento backing off like it might be a long hurl. That was effortless. I'm watching Rory Delap videos. Here's Bate. That's where the space was. Humphreys is going to be feeling a bit guilty having had his pocket picked. Bale coming forward, another Chelsea corner. Been plenty of set plays from good areas, Sam. Not just the corners, but the free kicks too. Get it away from Laban, who's been able to come and grab or punch a bit too easily. He's not going to come for this one. There's Humphreys. Well, that would have been nice for him. On target, but no more than that.
Yeah, again, it's a little bit of a lofted delivery. One of those headers where he'll be running back feeling frustrated, but he probably did all he could, really. Hard to manufacture direction and real pace. Backpedaling. And you're right, the goalkeeper's done really well, Laban, to this point, and the two centre-halves, I think, have marshalled their 18-yard box fantastically. Won everything, really, aerially.
Everton on the counter. Small with the cross. Not a terrible ball either. Vale is there. Good pass from him. Off you go, Joe Haig. Just going to release Tino Livramento, I would guess. But a foul worth making from Matthew Mallon.
He's just looking for Livramento on the right-hand side. And, a little collision, definite foul. I mean, that's a fascinating batter small against Livramento down this side, because normally Livramento would be such a source of opportunities for Chelsea, but they look like they've got a very good left-back. So, yeah, I think quite a lot could hinge on that. Livramento, actually, interestingly, he's gone in-field. I know it's something they do quite a lot throughout the academy. The two wing-backs come in-field and two centre-halves or the two number 10s can pull into the wider areas. So it's a pattern that they work quite often. Livramento does it intelligently, and maybe it is an afternoon for mixing up your game so he's not in direct combat with what looks like a really good flying fullback.
It's just not often he has someone as big and strong and talented as him. And there you go, right on cue. They've worked it nicely here. Haig, oh, shame again. Twice from good positions down there near the byline, Joe Haig. Most unlike him. Beautiful combination play between him and Livramento, though.
Oh, the flick is wonderful from Haig, and I think he's looking where he's putting the ball, isn't he? And maybe just taking his eye off it momentarily and can't wrap his right foot around it. But brilliant play from the two of them. Lovely awareness, great flick.
They did that just after Sam told you they'd started doing it. When the Blues need a goal at PL2 level, it generally is, will get Livramento a bit higher and wider because he so often makes things happen. That's a good flick from Pert Harris. Soon-Sup Bell, and now Haig. That's worth a hit! Laban pushes the bobbler wide for another corner. He didn't quite get hold of it, but it still nearly crept in.
Yeah, it's just a simple header from Pert Harris. Not sure where Everton are defensively. Butterfield's the closest player, and I think the deflection actually takes it towards the corner, doesn't it? Makes it into a better effort. Laban scrambling to his right, just pushes it aside.
Good pressure, 4 minutes to the break. Lewis Bate with the corner. Over Charlie Wiggett. Some nearly moments, but at the moment, no way through for the Blues. A reminder, West Bromwich Albion away in the quarters. They smashed Spurs for 5. In their round 5 time. Everton looking for a second. That was awkward. And Charlie Wiggett dealt with that very calmly, actually, because it was a slippery ball to deal with on the bounce. Good ball, Pert Harris. Livramento. See how quickly he read that was going to happen. Webster, with Whittaker having missed it. This is a strong little spell, this, for Chelsea. Vale denied by Mallon. Back come the Blues with Bate. Webster. Nice teasing, bit of curl on it. Laban's a confident keeper. He has judged everything very, very well so far. Pert Harris caught by Christensen. There's a bit more zip about Chelsea.
Yeah, clever from Pert Harris there. Just had to get that first touch and then was going to get brought to the deck. Had to respond to going behind. And again, you can hear Ed Brand shouting there when the ball was turned over. I think Humphreys was on the ball. 10s, make runs, you know, get involved. They are the key, really.
Very often the case in this system, if it's not the wing-backs, it is those 2 10s, if you like. We're seeing that plenty with maybe Mount and Pulisic in the first team level. And immediately that possession is one they've got to take up positions that can be found.
These two are very much technicians, aren't they, Haig and Pert Harris, whereas in the 23s you have Lewis and Angerin, who cover the ground a bit quicker, maybe, a bit more direct. So a lot of this is to feet, where you're expecting them to then maybe slide through teammates with the next little phase of play. Lewis and Angerin can kind of break beyond the back lines, get behind back fours and get shots away. I think these two looking more like they're, you know, creators, link players.
Wiggett, rare foray forward, now Brooking. That's a foul throw. They never pick up on that nowadays, assistants at any level. Feet well on the white line. Here goes Cannon. All dangerous. Cannon's got it back here. Big block from Wiggett. Follow-up also blocked and smashed out by Bashir Humphreys. Were you expecting a flag there, Sam?
I thought he might have just been a fraction offside. When he got in for the first strike, Wiggett makes up for his mistake with the initial block, but a real concern there for Chelsea that it was going to go to 2-0. You have to say, they probably had the 2 best chances of the game, the one in the opening minute and then the one that was taken by McAllister. In between that, Chelsea have had more of the ball. You probably expect that, but you have to say Everton have defended pretty regimentally to this point, and it's been half chances for Chelsea. But again, you know, that's another giveaway from the centre half around the halfway line. Cannon's already shown he's not gonna sit off you. He's going to go hunting and try and nick balls. Wiggett should have learned for what happened to Humphreys 4 or 5 minutes ago.
Cannon will only keep doing it now because it's brought him joy twice. Here's Webster right at the end of the half trying to find an equaliser. The deflection takes it softly through to Laban, and there is 1 minute of stoppage time to go. Everton coach Paul Tate will be very pleased with his side, obviously pleased with a 1-0 scoreline, but they've looked dangerous on their rare moments, as Sam says, and they've defended with real discipline, and a fluid Chelsea side has not been able to carve out really good opportunities. Yes, some nearly moments, but not real clear ones, not yet. Livramento read that, tried to pinch it. Don't mind that. If it's not Baton Webster, it needs to be those defenders maybe sliding the balls through as Bergstrom catches a routine one right on the 47-minute mark. We've seen a few times where the number 10s have received it from the back, trying to create things for Chelsea, but Everton's defence has generally stood firm here in front of a solid-looking keeper, and they have the half-time lead through him in this fifth-round Youth Cup tie. Sean McAllister nearly scored early on, so did Dobbin, who's now departed. Ed Brand is the coach with the little problem to sort out. The lead belongs to Everton at half-time in this round 5 FA Youth Cup tie. And Chelsea have a second-half turnaround to effect here. The half-time scoreline at Kings Meadow is Chelsea 0, Everton 1. Before we return to under-18 action, let's have a quick recap of what you may have missed on the Fifth Stand app from Monday night. The PL2 boys were playing Southampton.
Corner thumped over. Simiyu couldn't get it away, and it's loose, and Chapche's put it wide. Decent chance for Southampton early on. Probably would have rather it fell to Unlundulu than Chapche in the end. They were both in there, but it was the centre-half who had the shot. Whipped in by George McEachran, straight onto the head of Simiyu, who will feel he should have done better than that. Excellent ball in. Lewis on corner duty. Oh, an attack by Angerin, another good-headed chance for Chelsea. Lovely ball in that from Marcel Lewis, and Angerin rose highest. Ramsey just got there ahead of none. Referee's given the free kick. And he's going to show a second yellow card here as well to Kane Ramsey. He's off. He can't believe it. Big advantage for Chelsea. How will the 10 men readjust? Bycroft smacked that long. It's gone all the way through as well. And Lundalu trying to make something of it. Oh, and it's in from a lane. 10-man Southampton take the lead. Just 4 minutes after Ramsey was sent off, they're in front. Nice finish too from a lane. McEachran. It's a wonderful cross-field pass right onto the foot of Silko Thomas. None in the middle. Angerin close by. Here's Tino Angerin. Great touch. What a finish. Chelsea back on terms quickly. Southampton's lead lasted less than 10 minutes. And Tino Angerin restores parity. Silko Thomas with an assist on debut. And Angerin did the rest. Oh, that's a great cross. It's come through to Lewis. And he's teed it up for Thomas! How about that for a finish from the 16-year-old? What a way to mark his first appearance in PL2. And Chelsea have turned the game on its head with 2 quick-fire goals here. Lewis's ball in. Umbayamba! Another debut goal. And he's been on the pitch for hardly any time at all. Xavier Umbayamba has had to wait so long for his Chelsea debut. Simiyu playing like a right winger in the closing stages here, and he's going to win a penalty too. Ledwidge, the substitute, brought him down. And it was an easy decision for referee Russell. Angerin then. Oh, it's gone wide. Well, it's the kind of penalty that looks brilliant if it ends up in the back of the net. But on this occasion, he couldn't find the target. Added time in added time, so Simiyu's going to go straight for goal here. Straight into the gloves of Bycroft, but it doesn't matter because there is the final whistle. A come-from-behind victory for Chelsea here. All the action in the second half against the 10-man Saints. Final score at Kings Meadow. Chelsea 3, Southampton 1.
A great evening's work for the PL2 boys, including a couple of new names for you there, Mbuyamba and Silko Thomas. The less said about Tino Angerin's penalty, the better, I think, but it didn't matter. 3-1 there. 1-0 Everton here, a slightly more concerning scoreline. And I think you'd probably say they're decent value for their lead. They might have had the lead, Sam Parkin, inside at 30 seconds here with McAllister and then Dobbin. Should have scored, really. McAllister there, nearly scoring, more of him shortly. Chelsea had a very resolute defence to try and break through. This was Tino Livramento, excuse me, getting to the byline, as he does so well, and clipping it across. And there've been that kind of thing has happened all too often, really, where Chelsea have got it to a certain point, but Everton have defended it well, or maybe the cross hasn't just been able to find a blue shirt, but nothing really wrong with that. And as usual, you feel that Tino Livramento is as likely to be a source of threat as any. But going the other way, young McAllister here is definitely a source of threat. We saw it in the first minute, and we saw it there when he gave Lucas Bergstrom the eyes and tried to catch him out of the near post. And do bear that in mind for what you're about to see in a minute. He's looked good from the start. 5 goals in the league campaign. And now 1 in the Youth Cup too, because Sam Bashir Humphries got robbed there, and then the front players made it happen.
Yeah, Cannon did brilliantly. Mills's pass, I think, is for McAllister. It does make its way to him eventually, and he does well, actually, with Bate closing him down. Finds that corner that he was looking for a few moments ago.
Golfing celebration for a tidy finish from a decent-looking young player who's been a threat to Chelsea from kick-off. Mills on for the injured Dobbin. Whittaker almost got himself in the way. It's unfortunate, really, for Josh Brooking, because he makes a good tackle there, but it falls nicely for him. Bashir Humphries at the other end got his head on this one. It really needed another player, perhaps running in like a Wiggett or someone to nod it before the goalkeeper could get to it. Difficult header.
Yeah, plenty of set pieces, plenty of threat, but they have dealt with it particularly well in the first half. 2 centre-halves have had good opening 45 minutes. I thought Bell was maybe going to get in there. Maybe if he'd had a bit more game time, he would have done, and Haig works Laban with a little daisy cutter.
Yes, Joe Haig has threatened to do what we know he can do without coming as alive as he would like to have done and would normally do, but save there for Laban. He's looked good. You hope you might see a wobbly Oppo keeper at this level, but Laban, the Slovenian, has been looking good. So 45 to go here on the 5th stand-up. Other things upcoming for you on the official Chelsea app. Tomorrow afternoon, lots to talk about with Thomas Tuchel. Champions League semi-final with Real Madrid, but more pressingly, an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley against Manchester City, and a reunion of sorts with Pep Guardiola. Maybe the first of 3, who knows? Let's hope so, in what remains of this season. We've also got live Women's Cup football for you. Emma Hayes and her all-conquering Blues take on the Lionesses. That's tomorrow with Sam and I from just before 7 o'clock in the evening. 4th round duty, incidentally, for them. And then on Saturday evening from 4:20, join Joe and Jason and Lee and the whole Matchday Live crew. They'll be at Wembley ahead of the team news and all the debate in the build-up to that FA Cup semi-final against Man City. And while we wait for the players to come back out here, let's stay with the first team and someone who's enjoying a good little spell at the moment, despite being chopped to death nearly by Porto's players the other night. Here's Christian Pulisic.
Christian, first of all, huge congratulations. What does it mean to you to reach a Champions League semi-final?
It's incredible. I mean, after this long season we've had, to be here, I'm extremely proud, and to be, in the semi-final of this competition is a massive honor, so I'm excited.
Was this tie exactly what you expected against this Porto side?
Yeah, we knew it wasn't going to be easy at all, and they showed that they bring a lot of intensity. They didn't make it easy on us at any point in this tie. And yeah, in the end, we just edged them out, and yeah, happy about it.
How are the ankles? You were receiving some rough treatment out there, weren't you?
Yeah, I felt like I took a lot of fouls out there today, but all in all, pretty healthy. So I'm happy about that, and yeah, should be ready to go.
Good to hear. As a defensive you know, a very strong defensive performance from front to back, wasn't it, today?
Yeah, very good defensive performance. We were really solid back there. We knew that they were going to put a lot of pressure on us, but in the end, we stayed in there, and they scored one incredible goal. But all in all, it was a solid performance.
A first Champions League semi-final for us since back in 2014. It's quite the achievement from what we were saying is a very young team.
Yeah, it's a great group of guys that we have. Obviously, a nice mix of young players and some experienced players, and yeah, it's obviously working really well on the pitch, as you guys can see, and yeah, we're excited for the next round.
We were speaking to Aspi. He's the one surviving player from that last semi-final against Atletico back in 2014. What does it mean to play alongside a captain like him?
It's amazing. I mean, he does so much for this team. All the little things, really, that might not show up on the stat sheet or whatever, but he's always there. He's always fighting, and he really drives his team. So it's amazing to have a guy like that.
You were the player of the match again today, so congratulations. I mean, how pleased are you with your form and how things are going towards the business end of the season now?
Yeah, I'm pleased with the way I'm playing. It hasn't been an easy season by any means for me personally and as a team, but I've worked really hard to get to this point, and I'm feeling good right now. And
the big games keep on coming, don't they? How much are you looking forward to the semi-final this weekend against Man City?
Yeah, another big match, another great team, good opponent. So it's not going to be easy. We got to rest up a little bit and get ready for that one.
Wish you luck.
Thank you so much.
Well, he definitely needs a rest up and some ice on those ankles. A new Champions League record, overtaking Lionel Messi. I have to say, I'm amazed it was only 11. Pepe and co. just taking him out every time he got on the ball. Doing a great job for his team in that regard. And coming good again, Sam. He looks like a streaky player for whom fitness and confidence go hand in hand. And we saw that in the summer last year, him having a hot streak, and in the autumn before that, you feel like he's that kind of player, and hopefully he's in one of those peaks at the moment.
Well, he's got the potential to be anything he wants to be. I think in this league, during that spell, was it 8 or 9 games after the restart, he was right up there in terms of the best players in the Premier League. I felt every time you watched him, you felt something was going to happen, and he'll fancy Wembley, won't he, given he got the goal, didn't he? Certainly got a goal there, didn't he? And then obviously suffered the injury, but
in nearly scoring another, actually pulled it as he scored. He tried to score.
And he was, going into that game, Chelsea's big hope, wasn't he? Given his form, so great to see him back doing what he did during that period. And I'm sure the Chelsea supporters are going to enjoy watching him because he can be scintillating on his day.
At Kingsmeadow, Ed Brand has had his time with his players. A key 10 minutes. I wonder what the gist of it was, Sam, against a side that looked like they are well equipped to defend most situations that Chelsea have thrown at them. Yeah,
well, firstly, it'll be do not take risks. When you've got the ball defensively, move it a little bit quicker, be better with your passing. But I'm sure, in no uncertain terms, he'll want to see an improvement in 10 minutes. Otherwise, maybe, because they haven't had much joy at all in open play, he'll think about tweaking maybe the system would be the first thing to go. Just because those two number 10s I don't think have really affected it like he would have wanted to. The two holding midfielders have done a good job up against that. Harvey Vale's been quiet left-hand side. There's been Tino Livramento who's had moments, but he's up against a very good player in Small, I would say. So I would imagine 10-15 minutes as always, and then the manager will look to earn his money.
Paul Tate there is the manager who's in the box seat at half-time. The quarter-final place in the FA Youth Cup is the prize. Chelsea not used to such early eliminations. Sam alluded to the Manchester United tie a couple of years ago. Billy Gilmour as captain of the one side that haven't made it through to the latter stages in recent memory. Mason Greenwood hat-trick in a real ding-dong. Tariq Lamptey on the score sheet there, but you can even tell with the names I'm mentioning there, things happen, good things, to Chelsea players who come through these Youth Cup sides and this academy. We need some good things to happen here. Straight away, looking forward with bait to Vale, but Mallon has pinched it for Everton. Looking to threaten in the opening seconds as they did before the interval. Mallon trying to sneak his way to a corner, more out of hope than expectation, I think, there. Brian Fear-Bamer is a centre-forward on the bench. Silko Thomas has just scored on PL2 debut. Dion Rankin is a little older than some of these boys and potential for an attacking position. Ben Elliott has had a happy knack of scoring. He's a good-looking young midfielder that might come into the equation for Ed Brand at some point, but it's not always the case. You have to make personnel changes just because a scoreline isn't right. But we shall see. Here's Brooking. Actually produced a couple of the more dangerous passes in that first half, Josh Brooking, as Charlie Wiggett looks to do one here and has. Lovely crossfield ball to find Vale. Deep cross, awkward. Kept alive momentarily for bait by Pert Harris's clever head back. There's still a lot of discipline about those yellow-shirted Everton players. You can see they really have done well to close holes. So few occasions where there's been an obvious gap. Oh, hang on, you play a ball around the corner here and we're in. That just hasn't been there. Been a senior kind of shape about them. So Webster tries to feed one through. Christensen on the cover. And a little nibble from Pert Harris in the eyes of the referee, and I think it probably was. It's a 2021 nibble anyway.
He looks old beyond his years, doesn't he, Christensen? The way he marshals that back four, always seems to be just able to get a foot in or position himself intelligently between himself and the ball. Get the free kick.
Hagen to Soonsup Belt. Webster picking it up nicely. Here's the space for Livramento. Moments of promise. Chelsea got to take advantage of one of these. It's dropping here for Haig. It just skimmed off the head of Christensen, in fairness to Joe Haig. He just didn't have the time or space for that ball to drop, did he? It's just there and on him, and so's the keeper.
Yeah, it's arriving very quickly. We'll get a better idea now, but Livramento's ball in. Well, I think he's trying to take a touch. Could he just head that goalwards? Just his position. Half a chance, maybe.
It's that sort of in-between height, though. It must be quite awkward when the ball comes at you there, though. The obvious thing is to chest it down. Maybe you can stoop to head it. There's certainly can't really wait for it. Just a couple more yards further out. He'd have loved to have been taking that on the run there, but that skimming head from Christensen.
And Haig is a player who naturally would probably want to take it into his path with a nice little touch. There's some players that probably make the box and they think, I'm heading it whatever height it arrives at, and you're kind of on your toes and you're ready for every eventuality. Talking about myself there, Ben. I didn't want it on the deck.
How was your Chelsea Youth Cup career?
We got beat by Newcastle in the second year. The first year we got to the quarterfinals, lost in a replay to Blackburn.
Good defending from Wiggett here. Mallon with the cross for Everton. It's deep. McAllister around the back. Livramento did very well. Pert Harris wins the throw. Who would have been your coach then?
Well, I was going to say John Terry was suspended for the game we lost at Blackburn, and we had a whole host of chances which we missed, and we went out 2-1, I think.
When you say we,
no, not me. No. I scored in the first game. I had us in the semi, Ben. Before we threw it away. But yeah, we lost up at Ewood Park, and John, unfortunately, couldn't play a part.
Who else was in that side with you that year?
John Harley would have been in there. John Terry, main two. Obviously, a few more that made their debuts. Rob Wollaston. Rob Wollaston would have made a debut. Can't think of too many others.
Is Leon Knight part of the picture then?
Leon a bit younger.
Was he?
Yeah, a bit younger, a couple of years younger. I was going to say Nick Crittenden probably played. Yeah, certainly played in the Carabao Cup, I think it was at the time.
For Rude Hullet, yeah. Wiggett looking for the spread there. You've seen that Humphreys and certainly Brooking and Wiggett have all got that capability that we see quite a lot with our first teamers in Rudiger and Christensen, happy to hit those long balls, much like a certain Mr. Terry that you've just been mentioning. Here's Thierry Small with the throw. Thank you very much. We'll have that back. Webster. Vale is his wide option, and here is Harvey Vale. Still plenty of time, but It'll go faster than you think. Here's Brooking. Livramento just not able most of the time to get going like he wants to. Now he can. There's the gap. How's the cross? Oh, it's good. Pert Harris. Great chance. Exactly the kind of moment that have been in short supply for the Blues in this game, and exactly the kind that must be taken if they're to get back into this tie.
It's a really good delivery when it gets played into Webster. That ball's actually for the centre forward. Soons up Bell, but it turns into a brilliant pass for Livramento. Pert Harris sees it all the way. It's the right idea, directing it towards the far post, but just doesn't get enough on it, really.
No challenge either. His eyes will have lit up as that ball's come into the area. He's thinking, I am in here. What a shame. But hopefully a little bit of confidence for them all in the fact that that was able to be opened up like that. Rare that Everton have allowed it in. Butterfield to Mills, and Mills on to Mallon. Mills has overrun it. A heavy favourite there to at least make it on target. Foul throw, says Paul Tate. I think he was right again, by the way. Well in, Lewis Bate. Webster immediately knew that that ball was on. Livramento. Vale. Decent cross out by Campbell. Haig. Livramento again, but Small is there. Chelsea doing their best to up the ante here, Sam.
Yeah, some brilliant passes from Webster in particular. He switched the play beautifully there.
Wonder if sometimes you can walk onto that dropping ball like that and almost know my wing-back should be up there. Play on, referee, and he does. Advantage here. Soon Sup Bell, Chelsea's top scorer, trying to find the gap to get the shot away, and it wasn't there. If it was there, it was right at the beginning of it from the earlier angle. The referee's now going to have a word. Bashir Humphreys taken out. It's a bad challenge that from Mallon. I think he might get caution for it. Could he have hit it here?
Yeah, should have done. Once more, Christensen in a great position, though. And yeah, unusually hesitant, I would say. Maybe because he's not played loads of football, not played any football really for a few weeks, just had that half an hour. I think since Up Bell, who's been playing every week and scoring goals, leading into this Youth Cup time, maybe just comes in field there and bends it towards the far post. So the chance is starting to come. You know, two good chances, the two best chances that they've created in the game have come in the last couple of moments, better than anything they had in the first period.
Just confirmation there, the right back, Matthew Mallon, was cautioned for that very late challenge, sliding in, taking out Bashir Humphreys. But well done, the ref there. Should give him a bit of praise when it's due, because you quite easily see a flying challenge like that and the whistle's in your gob and you've blown it before you know it. And it had gone on nicely for Chelsea there. Absolutely right to play the advantage. Jude Soon-Sup Bell will hope for another opportunity like that, but that's him and Pert Harris. Part of you thinks, can you spurn these opportunities? And part of you thinks, well, they weren't being created quite as openly as that in the first half, so maybe something nice is building for Chelsea. Let's hope it's the latter. Vale under pressure. Back to Bashir Humphreys here. Haig just trying to pinch it from Warrington, who stayed very composed, and it's a good pass from him, a less good pass though from Cannon, and Chelsea have it back with Charlie Wiggett. For a long time Charlie Wiggett was the only ever present in Ed Brown's under-18 team in the league this term. A few more have had a go of late. Chelsea coming forward again here, as usual, with Tino Livramento. Good looking cross, headed out by Mallon. It's not cleared very far. Bate begins the rebuild again. Good spell this. Soon-Sup Bell. Oh, how's that squeezed through? There's Frank Lampard arriving on that. Someone just to walk on and smash that home. Bale, lovely bit of skill, and Malen can't bring him down. Another good Bale cross. No, not quite, actually. Christensen there, but you definitely feel something's building here. It's another corner.
Yeah, two wide players causing havoc right now, getting loads of balls into the box. That was a great position once more. Soon-Sup Bell easily able to receive, pulls it into a good area. You're right, Ben. Where are they covering the areas there? Webster just a little bit on his heels, maybe. Should be making that dart to make the box.
Bate with the corner. It's a good one. Into Pert Harris. Shouts for a penalty there. Very hard to see. In fairness, there weren't too many big shouts from the Chelsea players, and Wiggett limping away at pace to try and get back in.
I think the chance is Wiggett's here, and I think maybe it's Soon-Sup Bell.
Oh,
yeah, just swivels and tries to get the volley away. Wiggett's going to throw himself at that, probably with his head.
You're right, and he's probably got a decent chance of nodding it in, hasn't he?
Yeah, I felt when the ball was headed down, I could see him arriving and looked like it was going to be the equaliser. Everton escaped, but getting a bit more desperate, and only 56 minutes on the clock. A long time to hold out.
If there's not a shout there, though, just putting myself in the boots of the number 9 there, you see that ball bouncing there, you're going to swivel and try and hit it, aren't you? If you did Soon-Sup Bell, you'd be asking the question, why haven't you, if he didn't, wouldn't you? I think that's fair enough for him to go for it, unless Wiggett has shouted, I'm in, get out my way. Haig. Nothing doing.
That's really good movement, though, again, and we didn't see any of that in the first half. You know, getting behind, you know, runners to stretch Everton out a little bit. All of it was to feet. You know, Pert Harris and Haig, as I've spoken of, really nice technical players, lovely balance, and they did some good things in the first half, but need to stretch the play now. Two wide players are having a bigger effect as well than they did in the first period.
And in that middle third, Chelsea are definitely winning it and turning it over a bit faster, just like that. That was actually a moment of promise for Everton, and look what it's become. Joe Haig finding a pocket of space, something definitely building for Chelsea here. Haig with the shot, Bate with a difficult, ambitious, slightly bouncing ball to hit from a long way out.
Really good period, and we're going to see more of Humphreys doing that. The outside two centre-halves joining in as they go searching for this goal. But Haig, another run in behind. And look at the difficulty now Everton are having at keeping Chelsea at bay. The first half, when you're running away from goal, that's exactly where the defensive players want Pert Harris and Haig to go. Now, stretching it, moving them around, and Chelsea looking a lot more potent.
Yeah, feels like a different game, even if the scoreline remains the same. You're absolutely right. It was at arm's length. Everton with relatively comfortable discipline defending against Chelsea before the break. But the Blues opening up gaps since the restart. Doesn't mean there's not a danger going the other way. Tom Cannon here. Butterfield back to him. But again, it's turned over quickly. You're dealing with young hearts and minds here. Momentum can be a very big thing at any level. Livramento. The momentum certainly with Chelsea. Webster! Arcing away.
He's shown in this second half he's got great quality in that right boot. Great range of passing, exactly who you want on the edge of the box here to try and angle it into the far post. Yeah, not too far away. It's a different pressure today as well, Ben. I was just thinking, you know, the league games when you're 1-0 behind, even going into the league games, there isn't the same pressure as there is today. They know it's 90 minutes, have to produce, otherwise they're out of the competition and looking towards next year. So it's a different pressure, I would say, the Youth Cup brings, even this young stage of these players' careers.
That's why it's been so great for so many of the youngsters coming through over the years to have that pressure on a regular basis. Thank goodness there was too much on that pass. McAllister has kept it alive, though, despite Whittaker overhitting it. Mills wins Everton the corner. Because, as you say, as part of your development is not just the actual technical game, is it? It's the how you deal with pressure of increasingly pressurised situations, and maybe that's a cup quarter-final, a European semi-final, an FA Youth Cup final, all these games. And that's part of what has helped build the mental character of Tamori, Mount, Loftus-Cheek, Christensen, all these players who've come through who have played in these matches where the result really does matter. Knockout, domestic and continental finals and semi-finals and quarter-finals. All adds up to great experience. Half an hour to play here. Everton with the rare respite in this second half of a corner down the other end after a lot of defending. Heads on at the back, please. Boys in blue. McAllister, the goal scorer, to deliver. There's that routine that can only ever be referred to as oh, it's turned in here by Campbell. He's offside. There's the Anderton-Sheringham corner, I was going to say. It's amazing how often it nearly works. Well, we don't need to worry about VAR overturning that. Is he in the way?
Whittaker makes a mess of the first finish, but I tell you what a delivery it is when he sorts his feet out. He doesn't even look, I don't think. No, he just flashes it into an area, brilliant area. I'm not sure that's offside, is it?
It is now.
Yeah, couldn't tell from the angle, could we? But definitely not clear. Like Humphreys was around the Everton player, he stuck it in the net, but lovely pass from Whittaker.
Few. With a capital few. Humphreys give and go with Pert Harris. Nicely worked. Soon Sup Belt. And then back at the other end, back on the day job, Elijah Campbell poking it out. Another Chelsea corner. We've seen a lot of Chelsea corners. A fair few for Everton too, but even more for Chelsea. In from Bate, another good ball. Humphreys was up. Haig, no.
Just lacked a bit of conviction, needs to go back towards the far post. Great approach play, winning the corner though. Humphreys has really stepped up in this second half. It's him who makes the first challenge. I think that's a chance.
Being picky from there, maybe more loop it to the far corner.
Oh, definitely, yeah, has to go back that way, yeah.
Either to score yourself or for someone maybe to run onto and nod in. I mean, to nod that in at the near corner, and to be fair, it did look like he was aiming at the near corner, but that would have been very good and difficult. Pert Harris, Livramento, here's Haig again, great chance! Blocked from Mallon, soon Sup Bell, oh, it's cleared off the line by Christensen. Extraordinary heroic defending, that is as good as a goal. Maybe twice over, cannot believe neither of them have gone in.
It's a wonderful pick out from Livramento. He picks out Haig. Nothing wrong with that, you just have to say it's brilliant defending twice, Christensen. The first one is exceptional, and then just the nous to just position himself behind the goalkeeper to make the second clearance. But
that first one's in the corner, isn't it? The keeper is beaten, Haig did everything right there. So did Christensen, how incredibly annoying.
Playing some really good stuff though, opening Everton up down the right-hand side, lovely stuff. Pert Harris waiting for the overlapping Livramento, and then again, he has to get his pass right on point, and it was delicious the way he picked out Haig.
Still half an hour to go. If Chelsea can keep up this squeeze, surely there's a breakthrough coming. In towards Bashir Humphreys again. And Campbell going up for that one, and Campbell did enough there, I think, to make it hard for Bashir Humphreys. Here's Bate. And Humphreys again, no one will be more desperate after he was just caught in possession. That Everton goal. It's played well otherwise. Webster. Keep moving it quick. Humphreys again. Vale. Play really well in this second half, Chelsea. Here's Lewis Bate. It's another corner. Christensen again with the defending. He has been excellent, Sebastian Christensen.
Again, Humphreys, look at his position there, going on the overlap. Didn't see any of that in the first half. They're forcing the issue really impressively. He's been a big part of it, Humphreys, and Bate just hasn't got the space. Christensen just having an outstanding few minutes.
Lewis Bate's going to have a massage after this. He must have delivered 15 corners. It's another decent one into a good area. And away is the shout, and away it will go. Brooking just kept his powder dry there. He was going to go, and then he did. He got the foot in. Just give him the ball to get on with it.
He's done well, Mills, the substitute. Obviously involved in the goal, but covers the ground well. He's been really involved in Everton's counter-attacking play, which is a concern. You know, they've made chances without having loads of the ball today. Made good chances as well.
Wasted that throw. Right, back on it. Someone give me a run. That's all he could do in the end. Livramento, Peter Harris with the flick. Soon-Sup-Bell couldn't keep hold of it. Had a foul on Wiggett. Yes, well, it was given as such. Out the way, please, Tom Cannon. Seemingly always available, Lewis Bate. Haig taking over from Peter Harris. It's much more like it. Livramento. Not sure who that was for. Well done, Bashir Humphreys. Vale. Too tight in there for Soon-Sup-Bell to get the shot away. Peter Harris with the cross. Webster. Haig. Bate. Knock, knock, knock at the door. Surely at some point Chelsea are going to go through it.
It just wouldn't sit initially. Soon-Sup-Bell couldn't manufacture the space for the strike. Haig sets Bate really nicely. Just drags it a little bit in the end, but yeah, it's a really good second half performance. You can tell from the encouragement from the bench that the players are producing in this second period, just the goal missing. And now Everton getting really deep. That's enabling Haig and Peter Harris to go back to getting the ball and receiving it to feet. Just put that seed of doubt in their mind because they started the second half by stretching them, running in behind. It's been a really good recovery.
It was about to be a free kick. Advantage played, and rightly so. McAllister has pulled that one wide, thankfully. What if it is to be elimination? And we're a long way from that. This has been an excellent second half display from Chelsea. They've generally found, to a degree, the answers we were looking for more of in the first. Swap up top. Jude Soon-Sup-Bell for once does not score, and hopefully Brian Fearbamer will.
Yeah, I'm sure in an ideal scenario they would have liked to have kept that up the sleeve for the last 5-10 minutes and go with the two of them, but Soon-Sup-Bell is obviously a little bit short of match fitness, isn't he? Completely understandably, and just a fraction off his best today. Started to get hold of it better in the second half, but a couple of those chances, he just didn't take the strike on early enough, which, you know, stunk to me of someone who's a little bit short of match practice. So another good 68 minutes in his recovery.
Hopefully Brian Fearbamer can do what he did in the last round. Score against Fylde. He had a great start to the season, Fearbamer, in all competitions, League and Cup and PL2. He scored in all of them, the young forward, and then went from October until Fylde the other day in the last round of this without scoring. Only 13 games, I have to say. You think, my goodness, 5 months, that's ages, but it was only 13 games across those 5 months. He missed some chances at PL2 level and a penalty against Derby, I remember as well. Hopefully, having remembered the way to goal in this competition, he can do it again here. Or make it for someone else. Everton on the counter will remain a danger. They're coming forward here with Mills. He's got Cannon for company. Tried the little drop of the shoulder and to go inside, didn't work. Still, 20 minutes plus a bit. Vale gets it to the newly arrived Fearbamer. He'll be fresh. Vale again. There's a lot of yellow in that box. Oh, that's awkward, it's 1-1! Joe Haig nods Chelsea level. Well, there's your impact substitute. And well done, Harvey Vale.
It comes from Everton having a really dangerous counter-attack. Mills just overdid it. And Vale's had a really good effect. Fearbamer making a run, again behind the full-back. Thought it should have gone a little bit earlier to Vale, but when it eventually ends up at his left foot, that is just a wonderful stand up towards the far post. It's brilliant. It's an absolute dream for a forward player who's arriving, and Haig actually has the simple task because the delivery is that good. It takes out goalkeeper, it takes out the fullback, and Haig's on the spot to get the equaliser.
Maybe the least likely player to head in a Chelsea equaliser. Joe Haig, who's all about beautiful balance and fleet footwork, and not very tall at all, but as you say, if the ball is right, and it was, not even big Mr. Small, the left back could get up for that, just hung up there perfectly over him. Fiabema and Vale. Oh, good substitution there, Brand. Here is Pert Harris. He must have been looking for Haig there. I can't believe he'd have been going for goal. Roberto Carlos from there. Mind you, he is about as confident as him. 20 minutes or extra time. Second Everton change. That is Rafa Garcia. And number 9 is coming off too, Tom Cannon. The player who scored both of their goals in extra time. In their round 3 win over Wigan. Will not be doing it again, he's off. Rafa Garcia, who scored just the 1 goal in the league, is his replacement. And quick jewellery removal. I thought they'd sort these things out beforehand, honestly. You footballers. Now, the interesting thing here, we'll bet almost straight into the action. He's onside here. What a chance! Garcia, almost a goal scorer within 30 seconds of his introduction. And maybe if he'd been on and a bit sharper for a bit longer, he'd have put this away. Perhaps he should have done anyway, Sam. That's a great chance.
Oh, what a pass from Whittaker. It really splits Chelsea completely in half. And yeah, he's got a score, hasn't he? Fresh into the action, that's the only thing you can say in his defence. But once he takes that touch, you're expecting the net to bold. Will they get a better opportunity?
Well, I was just going to ask you whether that goal, whether you'd expect it to change what Everton do, because they were hanging on a bit, and you think obviously what you'd love is for just keep doing it in exactly the same way that was coming in the build-up to that goal. But goals change attitudes for both sides, don't they, on the pitch? And I wonder if that pattern will continue. You would fancy Chelsea with that momentum could nick it. But there again, we've just seen Everton should have gone back in front. Here he is again. Whittaker's played a couple of lovely balls in there. And, Lucas Bergstrom has not really been that busy at all. Not had any touches in this second half to speak of particularly. He should have been beaten then. He must have been fearing the worst with Garcia bearing down one-on-one.
Garcia looks, obviously, from that first little bit of movement, that he's got a bit more pace to run in behind. Cannon was a very hard-working forward player, he looked like, good with his back to goal.
Garcia's given it away. Just want Chelsea to keep doing what's been happening basically for the last 20-25 minutes. If Chelsea do find a way to get through this into the quarter-final, Rafael Garcia will have nightmares about that. What a chance. Livramento to Webster. Everton dropping in as Vale crosses. There's Christensen relentlessly in the way. Pert Harris wouldn't quite drop for him and attack clear. Good Lord. Player goes to ground, wins ball, no foul given. It was a good tackle that from Pert Harris as Vale tries to cross. Pert Harris wins it again. Haig, no room for the shot there. Butterfield made sure of that. Livramento. Butterfield did well. He's been good in there, hasn't he?
Yeah, both two players, I mean, they're having to really work hard now. Sure, they're getting a little bit leggy. Those two, big reason why Everton were so compact in the first half, but becoming a kind of a tougher challenge now. The limbs are starting to get sore, but still, again, you know, keeping you know, really the shape the same. 4 players breaking when they get the opportunity to Everton, and have looked like a really good counter-attacking side, I suppose, built on the success they had in the last round at Manchester City. That would have given them the confidence to come here today and feel we're going to be really hard to break down, but we know we've got a goal in us.
Lewis Bate. Humphreys. Webster was trying to get it in there for Haig. His challenge actually now enabled Everton to think about countering. Not for long.
Good little bit of tactical adjusting, really, to see the success Chelsea have had down the left-hand side in this second half. Oh, hello.
Tino Livramento.
Must have been close. Yeah, I was just saying,
I think that's a free kick, isn't it? Right on the edge.
Yeah, he's given it. I was just saying the joy they've had on the left-hand side. Humphreys has certainly stepped in loads to make it 2v1s with Vale up against the right-back. Maybe something that was identified because the right-hand side hasn't brought as much success, I would say. Maybe just thought that there was an opportunity to get at Mallon.
Livramento versus Small has been interesting, more so in the first half perhaps, but there, a non-contest. Tino had him. He was chopped down, and this is a nasty place to defend a set-piece from. There won't be a lot of room. Movement, key, and delivery. Webster, deep, and that's Feerbame around the back. Now, is he going to bowl it out? Back you get quickly. He's gone long here. Laban. Brooking is there on the head. Teasing ball from Webster. Oh, Feerbame, really? Little bump?
Your defender always gets that, doesn't he? Always.
Vale. It's Christensen again. We've already got number 4 at Chelsea with that name, a young Danish defender. This one looks pretty decent too. Yellow card for Thierry Small. Just making a note of it before Chelsea restart it. Surprised he didn't pick it up for the challenge on Livramento earlier. Anyway, here's Charlie Webster. Now Humphreys. Just become a little becalmed. Wiggett. Bate always trying to be the catalyst from deep. Pulling them around's not necessarily the worst thing, Sam. You mentioned a moment ago the amount of covering that midfield has been doing with the shuffling across. Surely it brings a switch off, or you haven't quite made up that extra 2 or 3 yards. Let's hope so. There's Vale. Seen a lot of the ball in this second half. That's awkward. Laban. Always wait for a whistle there. You presume it's coming, don't you? Not that it necessarily should have done. It didn't, in fairness to the referee here, in which case that's half a chance.
Again, Vale had a really good second half. Brilliant delivery. Exactly what you want. So frustrating when that final ball doesn't give you a chance, but just digging out. Excellent deliveries.
Just involved in a little 1-2 there, and he's an extra centre forward in the box at the moment. If the cross can come in, Livramento aware of that. Had to get beyond Roger Campbell. There were 3 more far postish waiting for it. Bate looking for them now. Shoveled away. Vale again. Real Chelsea pressure. Final 10 minutes. Smacked out by Mills. It'll come back. Sure, these Chelsea boys fancy winning this without the need of extra time. The wind is certainly in the Blues' sails. That said, Rafael Garcia one-on-one at the other end should have had Everton back in front. Would have been outrageously against the run of play, but it is the back door you leave open when you're attacking a lot. And here's Josh Brooking. Speaking of that, the right-sided of the back three men. And a chance for him to cross here first time. It's not a good one. He was strong. Bashir Humphries there, Rafael Garcia. Good luck getting around him there. Haig. Nice little touch to get it out of his feet. Couldn't get the cross past Small. That is a corner again.
Yeah, took it in beautifully. Just tried to reverse it into Livramento, but again, Everton players able to defend. Yeah, it was a good little stand-up, wasn't it? Made it really difficult for the goalkeeper. Haig was the player on the spot once more.
Another bait corner. Again, Bashir Humphries, really good movement in the box every time. He looks like he's, you know, sometimes you feel that with Tony Rudiger in the first team, that wherever this corner goes, he's going to get in there and be a threat. Livramento curling. Comfortable for the keeper, really. It was probably curling in fairness to the corner. Why not?
Yeah, optimistic, just a little bit far out. The direction's excellent. Forces the goalkeeper into a save. Probably would have found the corner.
Ton of swaz on it. Is he given the pen? You are joking. Oh no, outside the box. And Everton are now asking the assistant to tell the referee that it was inside. We have no VAR. So unless he's seen something different, it won't be. Charlie Wiggett is saying, I couldn't believe it. Let's have a look. I mean, is that a foul, Sam?
First view in, no. It might be inside, but I don't think it's even a foul, having seen that.
I mean, he cannot possibly get out of the way there with the angle he's running at. And
I'd have to see it again because I was more looking to see where it took place, but it was Humphries caught upfield, wasn't it? And the ball slid in behind him. But it didn't look like there was too much there.
Right, I'm liking the look of that far corner at the moment. No, Bergstrom is there now. Well, we know McAllister's got a decent shot on him. Whittaker's been good in this game in moments. They are the two options. Doesn't look like the biggest wall from this angle. It's Whittaker. And the wall is big enough. It's off Wiggett. Ref did have them 10 yards back, which can also make it a bit of an illusion. I think that's justice done. I'm not sure it was a foul. I think it was just outside, you know. But anyway, it's gone now. No VAR, but it's still an Everton corner. Sean McAllister is there. Glancing header from Wiggett, and the follow-up is miles off. No late heroics from Butterfield this time. Well, not yet, anyway. He's still got the 98th minute to come if he wants, which may well be in the added 30. Mallon with the header. Vale. Everton have already made a couple of changes. If they are getting a bit leggy in those covering defensive positions, Sam, but they might run out of substitutions. There's no options available for Ed Brand. Elliott in midfield, if he thinks any of his boys are getting a bit weary in there. No, as they always say, more tiring when you're out of possession, and Everton have been out of possession for most of this second half. Still time for Chelsea to pinch the win and spare us all 30 more minutes. Campbell on the cover, Chelsea throw. Haig on the chase. He's got there. That might have been a foul. There'll be another corner instead. Come on, Joe, lift it. Looked a bit flat there as Lewis Bate comes across to take it. Haig perhaps just trying to lull the defenders into a false sense of security as he floats gently towards that near post. Now he comes alive. In from Bate. Oh, great chance. Headed over. Harvey Vale has had such a good game. And he's put in some real quality. Well, he's on the end of that quality there, Sam.
Yeah, not had too many clear headers from set pieces. That one is, though. Should be able to direct that down towards the target. Gets away from Small so easily at the near post and just comes off the back of his head, I think, as he tries to direct it down towards the corner.
Super chance, and like Pert Harris from open play earlier, uncontested, wasn't it? There is Pert Harris. Awkward bounce, Christensen nodding it back. Well, he's perfectly within his rights there, Joe Haig, to go for that ball. And in fairness to... Oh, he's booked for it, really? A high boot, I guess he's saying. But I mean, that is there to try and stick a foot out. Honestly, Sam, you would not have lasted 2 minutes. I mean, why can't you dive in like that?
No, you can. You can. I think he's done really well to anticipate it. It was a difficult header for the centre-half, and he's probably thinking he wraps his right foot around that. It's going to trickle over the line, and he's got himself a brace.
Instead, he's got himself a card. Fair play, Laban not rolling around like many a player would, but I don't know. Got to be allowed to go in for that. The referee is calling that reckless, because that's the law of the game, isn't it? If it's dangerous, red, reckless, yellow. I don't think that's reckless, he's in control. Charlie Webster here. Vale was on. Webster went the other way. Everton are going to try and counter here, and a slip at the worst possible time from Humphreys. And here is Rafael Garcia, and still heavy touch. Shooting chance. Oh no! Lucas Bergstrom spilled it into his own net. You can't believe it. It's straight at him from Sean McAllister. And it's an absolute disaster right at the end of the game.
It looks like the chance is gone, doesn't it? It's Webster, should have shifted it, as you said, Ben, towards Vale. And Garcia's touch takes it away from him. It looks like the danger's gone, especially when the strike is released, but it's just a calamity. You can't believe it, the way they've performed. Chelsea players on their knees, have to try and rally themselves. With a bit of added on time, there'll be an opportunity to salvage this, but what a devastating moment.
Oh, you cannot believe that. In the mobbing, he may have hurt himself by the looks of it. Well, he deserved his first half goal. I'm afraid that's a shocker. He's had so little to do in this second half in particular, Lucas Bergstrom. You could see his face buried in the turf. He has had a couple of those this season. One at PL2 level a few weeks ago as well that slipped through that shouldn't. Dion Rankin's going to come on here for Ed Brand. After all this second half pressure, that is a sucker punch and then some.
It is, doesn't take away from how well they've played in this second half, but going to be a tough one to get over for these boys if they can't salvage something in the time that remains. Plenty of time to make another opportunity.
Well, they always say at the highest level, you make mistakes, you get punished, but you don't necessarily expect that highest level to be the academy. You know what I mean? There's a dally on the ball from Bashir Humphreys in the first half and an eye off the ball from Lucas Bergstrom there, and they've both been punished with goals. Everton have had 4 or 5 chances, good ones in fairness to them in this game. That wasn't even that good a chance. And as we hit 90 minutes, Chelsea have to find a goal. Dion Rankin is on, and we're into stoppage time. He came on, incidentally, for Charlie Wiggett. 3 fingers held up there by the referee. So, obviously an extra attacking player and one of the defensive trio off. Tino Livramento will have to try and stay high-ish, even though technically he's now a right back. Pert Harris. Oh, there've been some chances in this second half. Wiggett nearly in. Pert Harris. Joe Haig himself. And that header from Vale a moment ago. I bet Charlie Webster's wishing he'd gone left to Harvey Vale now. That was a mistake in the build-up before Bergstrom. It's not only him, of course, he's at the being the last line of defence. That's going to be the focus of it, but Everton have had some help. They look a decent side for sure, but Chelsea have bossed this game, certainly bossed this second half. But Everton are 2 minutes from going through. It might get better for them here. Mallon with Garcia in the middle. It's a terrible pass, thankfully. Chelsea remain by the very fingernails in it.
They've worked it perfectly as well. The position, great running from the fullback, and then the pass is the simple bit, I would say, because Garcia's in acres of space. He's done a good job here, though, the substitute, wasting down a few seconds. It's a poor challenge.
Foul on Livramento. Just let him play on. There's a card to go with his 2 goals. It's one of those, Sam, I'm sure at any level, when you hit that, and before it's even got to the keeper, you've got time to think, oh.
Yeah.
And then, oh.
Yeah, he's turned away, probably hasn't he, to get back into his shape. Can't believe his luck. Oh, terribly harsh on these Chelsea players if it is to end this way after giving such a good performance. Big contrast from the first half, hugely in control.
There's a minute to the team who've done so well so often in this competition to get back into it and spare Lucas Bergstrom, who's just going to be feeling awful, and there will be nothing that anyone can say to him in that dressing room after this to console him. He may yet be the hero in penalty kicks. Who knows? Livramento's throw, flicked on by Pert Harris. It's up. Laban comes and Laban catches, and that might be that. There's only about half a minute to go.
He's done well, the goalkeeper. He's come and taken balls throughout the 90 minutes, alleviating that pressure from the first minute, really. And you have to say, for all Chelsea's good play in the second half, they've come up against a tough opponent. Counter-attacked excellently. And for the main, made it difficult for Chelsea to make good chances, but they have come in this second half.
Get it forward, quick. The whistle's going to go any second. In the box, everybody. Harvey Vale's going to have to cross it. Or if not him, Joe Haig looking for a penalty. Looking too cheaply for it too. No chance to cross. Everton ball, and that'll surely be that. Oh, it's absolutely crushing for them, it really is. Mallon taking every second he's got despite being on a caution. Come on, pick that ball up. On we go. But I don't think there'll be time for much more. There's a check of the watch. They said 3. We've had 4. There's another look at the watch. And there's the full-time whistle. Everton have knocked out Manchester City and Chelsea in consecutive rounds, and this will be a really tough one to take for the Blues, Sam.
Oh, an absolute sickener. Yeah, it'd be really disappointed to go out, clearly, but I think when they sit down, reflect, watch some of it, Ed Brand can be really pleased with that second half response. Sloppy in the first half, gave them a goal, and obviously the biggest test is going to be making that young man feel better about himself, which I'm sure, given time, he'll be absolutely fine, but it'll hurt tonight. But it happens.
Well done, Ed, for going straight to his goalkeeper. Couple of mistakes let Everton in. They countered well. They looked dangerous when they had the ball. Haig had Chelsea level in what was a brilliant second-half display where they really found ways to get in and attack Everton in a way they hadn't before the break. But Chelsea are knocked out, and Everton will be away at West Brom in this season's Youth Cup quarter-final. Fascinating game to watch with a disappointing result at the end of it. The full-time score at Kings Meadow. Chelsea 1, Everton 2, right at the end. It's a heartbreaker. Right, the main moments then of a really interesting cup tie. Everton nearly in front, 30 seconds in here, Sam.
Yeah, McAllister, wasn't it, showing early intent, and good opportunity on the far post for Dobbin. Probably came a little bit too soon for him. Couldn't get his side foot onto the ball, really. Comes off his heel and away to safety.
Chelsea really struggling in the first half to open Everton up, and Everton always looked likely to be able to pinch something. They did there when Humphreys was caught in possession. Cannon, and then Whittaker, and then McAllister.
They always had a man over, didn't they, once Cannon had won the ball back. Good play from Mills, I felt, and just seeing it back again there, maybe Bate could have just sensed that danger a little bit sooner and shifted his position to the left. Made it tougher for McAllister to get the strike away, but showed his quality. I thought throughout the 90 minutes, McAllister looked like a full player with an eye for a goal, clearly. He stuck that one away beautifully.
Second half, a different story. That was Pert Harris, Livramento, Joe Haig, a remarkable block by Christensen, followed by another remarkable block by Christensen. Both of them as good as a goal.
Yeah, they started to play some really good stuff during this spell, Chelsea. Lovely play, Pert Harris, Livramento. Thought Haig did everything right, and soon Sup Bell likewise, really. Sorts his feet out, steers it towards the target, and it's just great defending from Christensen, who probably was one of Everton's picks today. You have to say the centre-half, he was excellent.
Brian Fearbaimer had just come on carrying the ball here. Harvey Vale had a really good second half, and it's him standing it up for Joe Haig to make it one each.
Yeah, it's so difficult for the fullback. You see there, Thierry Small, trying to backpedal and get something on the ball, but when the quality is there from the delivery, very difficult, and Haig gets himself a really simple header.
Vale was really good second half. You're seeing a lot more of the attacking players for Chelsea after the restart. Funnily enough, it's Fearbaimer, just having another look at him here. Back into the fray very quickly. He'd only just come off the bench, but there was a lot more joy for Vale in the second half than he'd had in the first. Strangely, despite having not threatened at all in the second half, Everton could actually have gone back in front straight away. Racing through, they had just sent on Rafael Garcia, and that would have been 2-1 for them.
It's a terrific pass from Whittaker. Has to play it really quickly, makes his mind up, and the substitute, he won't want to see that one again. He'll be relieved tonight because this is as good as it got after their opening goal. Just didn't get any bend on it. That was the problem.
There were a few free headers missed by the Blues. That was one from Harvey Vale. There was one earlier from Miles Pert Harris too that went past the post, and these will be the chances, Sam, they'll be thinking tonight, if only we'd taken them.
Yeah, Harvey Vale will be thinking about this one, because I think the winning goal probably comes only, what, 2 or 3 minutes after that. Great opportunity at the near post. And
this is that winning goal.
Yeah, probably one of Webster's only mistakes in the game. He was immaculate, his passing in the second half, so yeah, it's how cruel football can be.
Garcia, and then McAllister again, and, well, Lucas Bergstrom, what can you say?
It's actually Webster who makes the challenge back in his own box after he's given the ball away. Absolute sickener, and of course, don't need to say anything too much about that, but you credit Everton, I suppose, for being resolute in that second half, Ben, and carrying that threat, which has got them the success in the last couple of rounds.
Well, through they go, and the best of luck to them. They'll be a tough side to beat. Upcoming on the Fifth Stand app tomorrow afternoon. You'll be able to hear from Thomas Tuchel ahead of his Chelsea Wembley debut. FA Cup semi-final with Manchester City. In the evening, we've got more Cup football for you live on the Fifth Stand app as the women take on the Lionesses. That's with me and Sam from just before 7 o'clock. And then Saturday evening, live from Wembley, join the Matchday Live crew with all the build-up to yet another FA Cup semi-final for the Blues. There is knockout football everywhere you look at every level of Chelsea Football Club these days, but sadly there will be no more Youth Cup for the Blues under-18s. They've been beaten just cruelly right at the death by Everton here. From Sam and I this afternoon, it's goodbye.